Hello there and welcome back to the Thought That Counts podcast. I am your host, Mr. John Bagel McPragle, and I am here to talk to you about the new Batman film, the Robert Pattinson, highly acclaimed, highly anticipated new Batman movie. Let's talk about it. First, I'm going to go ahead and say I'm not going to give away any huge spoilers. I'm not going to give away any giant plot points. I'm not going to be reading the script line by line, although I could because I have a copy of it right here. But I'm not going to be doing any of that. I'm just going to be talking to you about the characters, the way the characters interact, how I felt about the film overall, that kind of stuff. So let's get into it, right? Let's get into it, see? See? I liked the movie. I thought it was a good movie. It didn't blow my socks off. It didn't blow my brains out. It didn't blow the sweat off my ass, but it was a good film. And I say that genuinely because we don't have that many good films anymore. I think they brought something new to the table. They brought something new to the Batman character. Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves, I think they made a good team. I think they built a foundation upon which they can do something more. It was good. It was great. Particularly the fact that you see a lot of Batman in this movie. You see a lot more Batman than you do Bruce Wayne. You don't get that much Bruce Wayne in this film. You get a lot of Batman. Something new was brought to both Batman and Bruce Wayne with this work of cinematic art, if you will. I think they made a point to set up a world where Bruce Wayne is viewed differently in this version of Gotham City, in this version of the Batman universe, than he normally is. He's normally this billionaire playboy, going out every night, two girls on his arms, going into galas and parties and hotels and all this kind of. He wasn't doing that. He was more of a recluse, and I thought that was interesting. He was more of a. He's more in touch with his emotional side, overtly on screen than he normally is. And like I said, you see a lot more of Batman than you do Bruce in this film. So what that means is you get to see a lot of Bruce's past, a lot of Bruce's pain through the eyes of Batman in certain scenes. And I also think this movie is, it is darker than most Batman films. It's edgier than most Batman films. The characters are morally imperfect, to say the least. These versions of characters that we're seeing in this film are not like any of the characters that we normally see in Batman movies, in superhero movies, or in any movies at all, really. And I'll get into that in the coming minutes of this episode. So what do I mean by all this? What do I mean when I say you can feel Bruce's past through the eyes of Batman? I'll give you an example. There is a scene where a boy has just lost his dad. His dad was murdered by the primary villain of this film, the Riddler. So Batman gets to the scene with all the cops, and they're kind of looking around the room. They're investigating. And as Batman's about to leave, he sees this orphan. Well, he's not really an orphan. His mom's still around, but she's about to turn to the drink and, drink herself to death. It's going to be a short way out for her. So she's not going to be in the picture much longer. The kid's going to be on his own. Batman sees this kid, and he just sort of stares at him for an uncomfortably long period of time. And yes, from one perspective, this might be Bruce's pain as an orphan, seeing another boy that's lost one of his parents, soon to lose his second parent, because she's a raging alcoholic. So you can see the pain in his eyes. It's the film cuts from Bruce's face. They're zooming in on Batman's face, And then they cut to the boy's face. They're zooming in on his face. Cut back to Batman. Cut back to the boy. Cut back to Batman. It had a very raw energy that can really only be explained by one thing. Batman is a pedophile. In this film, which I believe I said earlier, it is edgy. It is dark. The producers, the director, Matt Reeves, I mean, he's really taken some risks with this one. So Batman's just staring this kid down, and then he leaves. As soon as he gets out of that apartment, he texts a group chat with the phone numbers of Prince Andrew, Hillary Clinton, Hunter Biden, and Ghislaine Maxwell, telling them to hit up their thugs, come kidnap this kid, because the mom's going to be out of the picture real soon. Already covered that one. And take him to Epstein Island, where he will be their new moneymaker. He's going to be the new front of the operation. I mean, he's got a pretty face. He's got a slender body. I mean, this kid's going to be their new flagship vessel, if you will. Which is sad. I hate to see it. But I will say it makes sense. In the film, I mean, Bruce Wayne, he's a rich trust fund baby orphan, and he is connected. He's connected to some powerful people. He's got a lot of tricks up his sleeve, and he's into some weird shit. Just like the rest of them. Just like the mayor. Just like the chief of police. I mean, they're all in some weird stuff. So it's not that surprising. But to see it in a Batman movie, it brings a new light to the character. You know what I mean? You didn't expect him to be a Jeffrey Epstein type, but that's Matt Reeves' take. So, Batman's trying to traffic this kid. It's a shocking revelation in the DC universe. I didn't think they would go there, but they did, and here we are. So later on in the movie, you can tell that you can even confirm this because Batman, he had his eye on Catwoman too. I mean, he was taking a real good look at her while she was undressing in her apartment. I mean, he had binoculars. I mean, he was like licking his lips. It was uncomfortable. Somewhat intriguing, but mostly uncomfortable. Like I said, a lot of risks being taken in this one. Later on, I mean, you can see Batman kind of staying on good terms with Catwoman. And Catwoman, by the way, Catwoman in this film is in a flirtatiously incestuous relationship with her dad, who does not know that he's her father, but he's this nightclub goer. He's a power player in the mob, and he doesn't know that she's his daughter. So she's like one of these honeys in the nightclub, and she's going out every night, and she's wearing all these hot outfits, and she's rubbing up with him and getting money out of them by performing sexual favors. It is obscene. It is obscene, and I demand a sequel. I need a sequel. Now, please. I need to see more of this world. This new DC universe is the best one I've seen yet. And the Riddler, don't even get me started. They should call this guy the Diddler. This guy's molesting people in his apartment night after night before he kills them. He's got a deep web chat room where he performs very dark sexual violence on people on a live stream network before he kills them and posts the video online, which is then, played on the news. The news outlets are in on it too, because they're playing the entire video. They're not just cutting it out. I mean, they're playing the whole thing. The sex bits and all. They're doing the entire no filter, no questions asked. They are supporting this guy through and through. And the police station, well, the police station is dirty too, but Commissioner Jim Gordon is the one who found the connection between the news outlets and the diddler, because they are actually sending him money on Venmo through encrypted services. They've got VPNs sending Bitcoin through Venmo into the account of the diddler. So they're supporting him. They want him to keep doing this because they know it's good television. They're in on it. They're dirty, just as dirty as those cops, just as dirty as those diddlers and those children and those. It's all a rage. It's crazy stuff. It's some crazy stuff out there on this one. So you better go to the theater and watch this as soon as you can. This is crazy stuff here. God. But yeah, good film. Real good. I want them to bring in another Batman film. I want them to bring in Croc. What's he called? The Croc? Croc Man? He's a crocodile man, but I want them to bring in the Croc. And I want him to start biting people's dicks off. That's just, I can't apologize for that. That's what I want. I want that to happen. I think that would make a great film. That's the direction they're going in. It makes sense. Bite off some dicks, bite off some tits. I mean, do what you got to do, Croc. But overall, the film, I think, was choreographed very well. The scene to scene transitions. It was all very nice. There was a scene where it was a funeral for the mayor, and because the mayor was the dad of the kid that I mentioned earlier, the kid that's going to be trafficked in the Ghislaine Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein sex island. And the mayor died. And then soon after that, they had a funeral for the mayor at City Hall. And the diddler set up this, one of his victims tied a bomb around his neck and forced him to drive. He is basically commanding him what to do. So the diddler is off in a safe location. He's actually at the funeral. Believe it or not, he makes an appearance so he can see his plan unfold. And his next victim, the DA, has a bomb strapped to his neck, and he's telling the DA everything he's supposed to be doing in order to not get his head blown up. So the DA is doing whatever the diddler says. So he gets in a car. The diddler tells him to drive his car up the stairs of City Hall through the doors and through the main procession of the funeral. So the kid is at the funeral because his dad is the one who's the funeral is for. Bruce Wayne is at the funeral. He's not dressed as the Bat. I thought it would have been cool if he went dressed as a Bat, but he wasn't the Bat at the funeral. He wasn't the Bat at the funeral. I can't tell you why. He went as Bruce Wayne. I thought it would have been cool. He didn't. Bruce Wayne's at the funeral. The truck comes through. Everyone scatters. The kid is, he's pretty, but he's stupid. So the kid just sits there and lets the car come to him. Bruce Wayne. Bruce Wayne tackles the kid and saves his life because, you can't let the merchandise go bad. You can't let the merchandise get scratched up and scuffed. The kid gets a couple of broken bones. He'll be out for months. You know what I mean? You got to keep him in the game because he's obviously going to be your biggest profit maker as soon as he gets to the island. You got to keep him safe. So he tackles him. I'm sure he enjoyed that. And he then protects him from the car that's running through City Hall. Everyone scatters. The man comes out. All the cops pull their guns because, of course, they have guns at the funeral. And the guy comes out. He's got a bomb strapped to his neck. It's a whole thing. Go watch the movie. I thought it was good. If you haven't seen it yet, go see it. But yeah, I think it was cool to see that they didn't do the whole billionaire playboy version of Bruce Wayne. They did more of a sad, emo, orphan child, which is cool. We haven't really seen that yet. We've seen elements of Bruce Wayne's sadness in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. I mean, you saw him in Batman Begins. You saw him struggling to find his footing. There was a couple moments like that in this film too, where like he was scared to jump off of a building and glide, over the streets to safety. He was scared to do it, and rightfully so, because he did it horribly. He looked like a fucking idiot, and he ran into a catwalk and nosedived into the ground. It was pretty funny. So that was good. At the end of the movie, at the end of the movie, they set up a possibility for a sequel with the Joker. The Diddler's in the Arkham Asylum. In the cell next to him is someone who's talking to him, and he's like, oh, blah, 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 blah. They, everyone loves a good comeback. And then they start laughing. This guy, cellmate number 2, or whatever the hell his name is, he starts laughing. And it's clearly like a very hyena-ish hysterical laugh. Clearly, he's the Joker. He's supposed to be the Joker. But it's very clear that it's like some random actor. All I want is for them to bring Joaquin Phoenix into this series. Is that too much to ask? Is it too much to ask for Joaquin Phoenix to be in this series, to be in this saga? Why can't they have get Joaquin Phoenix in the room with Robert Pattinson? Marvel's doing Chris Hemsworth, Robert Downey Jr., and all the All-Stars, and we're doing what? What are we doing, DC? What are we doing, DC? We're doing nothing. Best we've got is Henry Cavill, and he's nowhere to be found, because this is Batman. This is Batman. And Batman deserves better. Batman deserves better than just, like, some random asshole playing the Joker. Get Joaquin Phoenix in the room. You can't get Joaquin Phoenix in the room with Robert Pattinson? Really? Even I could do that. I got connections. Not the same connections that Bruce Wayne has to Prince Andrew and Ghislaine Maxwell. It's not the same connections, but it's connections. I got some. It's not the same, but I got some. So let's make it happen. Snap, snap, get to it, DC. We want things to happen for us. We need moneymakers. Like the orphaned child of the mayor that's going off to Epstein Island. We need moneymakers. I was sad to see that the Joker wasn't going to be played by Joaquin Phoenix. We'll see. They might bring Joaquin in the 11th hour for the sequel. But what this film really did is it set up a different looking universe for sequels. It is a great foundation. Like I said, it didn't blow my socks off, but it was a good film. It wasn't corny. There was a little bit of romance between Batman and Catwoman, which I liked. And clearly, he kept on good terms with her because he's planning on trafficking her later on. He's going to bring her in later. She's too strong right now. He needs to weaken her. He's going to feed her some low-level poisons that break down her nervous system a little bit and eat away at her muscular tissue for a few months. And then when the time is right, he's going to send her off to the island because, I mean, that's what he does. That's what he's into. This is the Bruce Wayne that Matt Reeves has set up in this world. He's kind of a creep. And I like it. I really do. So that's good to see. A fresh new take on the character. And like I said, just waiting for some sequels. Because this was a good foundation. It was decent. You see some moments when Batman just seems lost. He seems like he doesn't know what he's doing. Like I said earlier, similar to the feel in Batman Begins, the Christian Bale, Christopher Nolan trilogy, Batman Begins. It was, God, I love that trilogy. I love that trilogy so much. You can't beat that trilogy unless you do it with this trilogy, because I'd say this film was maybe as good as Batman Begins. So there's still potential. There's still some great potential for them to meet the expectations, even exceed the expectations that have been sort of set by the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Ben Affleck is not Batman. He was never Batman. That never happened. The DC Universe fans reject him. Fuck you, Ben Affleck. Go somewhere else. We don't want to hear from you. We don't want to see you. We don't want to talk about you. Okay? I mean, you don't have Christian Bale retire from the Batman world at the age of 41, 42, and then have someone who's 2 or 3 years older than him come into the play 4 years later. What the hell was that about? We needed Robert Pattinson. Let the character breathe. Give it some time to breathe. You don't bring in somebody 3 years after somebody else was doing it. I mean, it's like you're falling into the same trap that Marvel fell into with Spider-Man. You got 3 fucking Spider-Mans, and now you gotta figure out how to put them all in a movie together, and it's all just way too forced and way too stupid. Don't turn into Marvel, god damn it. DC is supposed to be good. If you start setting your standards down at the level of Marvel, then it's all going to shit, and it's going there fast. So, let's please keep it a little bit better, a little bit higher quality than that. We don't need to be stooping to the level of Marvel, where everything is just explosions and, aggrandized notions of other worlds and, we got a magic man doing tricks over here and there's this guy, he's trying to kill the world again. No. It's stupid. It's dumb. It's pointless. Have something real, god damn it. That's the point of Batman. That's the whole point of Batman. And they kept it real. They kept it real in this film. I'll tell you that. It was good. It was all very plausible stuff. Because there are freaks out there. There are diddlers. And there are pedophile sex trafficking rings being run by people like Bruce Wayne. So it was very realistic. I have to say, at the end of the day, I liked it. Best film I've seen all year. Mostly because I haven't seen any films over the past 2 years because they've been practically outlawed. But, what are you going to do? I'm seeing films again, and I'm probably going to see some more. So, it's been a good time. It's been a really good time. So, yes, looking forward to the sequels. Get Joaquin Phoenix on board. You have to. The Diddler is in Arkham. You got to come up with a new series of villains. You got to come up with a way to flesh out the character of Bruce Wayne. Flesh him out a little bit, all right? We saw a little bit of the sad, gloomy, emo orphan. Now, we need to expand on that. We need some character development here. That's the only thing that didn't happen enough in this movie. But like I said, it's set up a foundation. You got to have the long term in mind when you're doing a film like this. Matt Reeves, he's a smart man, okay? He's a risk taker, like I've established. He's going to set up a saga that allows for true character development. He kept those lines open, just like Batman kept the line open with Catwoman so he can send her into a sex trafficking ring. We need to keep these lines open, up and running, keep it in play, flesh out the characters, expand on their development. Let's get something going here that can build up into the kind of quality that we had in the Christopher Nolan trilogy. Matt Reeves needs to go talk to Christopher Nolan. At the end of the day, go talk to him. Get some advice. I'm sure he'll tell you to keep going with the sex trafficking stuff because it's pretty spicy, but I liked it. I really liked it. I'm glad I spent my money on it. I went to an AMC theater. This is not a plug for AMC. Very much unlike that weird promotion video they do at the beginning of every movie there. Apparently, I want to know how much they paid Nicole Kidman to be in this promotion. They do this weird self-promotion at the beginning of the movie. They play all the previews for all these other movies that you're not going to see. And then they start this like, welcome to AMC type of promotion, right? It's Nicole Kidman talking. And she's in the video. It's like a video of her walking through a theater, saying like, we come to this place so that we can experience a new world and be reborn in a renaissance of love. Like, she's literally just explaining what a movie is. Saying, we need this place. We come here to laugh. We come here to cry. We come here to be transported into another place and experience new adventures. Like, yes, that's a movie. That's a picture show. That's a film. That's what cinema does. That's what cinema is. How much did they pay you to explain what the a movie is, Nicole? How much? Like, 1 million? 2 million? Why didn't you pay me that money? I can explain what a movie is pretty damn good too. And I'm not getting paid for it. I'm not even getting paid for this. For God's sake. Somebody pay me. Please. I need the money. I ran out of Brussels sprouts and I need more. Look, my point is that we didn't need that paid promotion at the beginning of the movie. Movies are here for us to get away from real life. We sit in the chair, the lights go dim, the movie starts. You hear 12-year-olds talking and giggling in the back throughout the whole film. We get up, we go back there, we pull a shank out of our pockets, and we stab them to death. Like, we know this stuff. We know this happens. We get it. We know how the movie works. We don't need you to explain it, Nicole. We don't need ya. Go back to HBO or whatever the hell it is that you're doing. My God. We don't need it right now. What we do need is Joaquin Phoenix. Get on it, Matt Reeves. And thank you for watching today. I appreciate you coming in and tuning in and listening to this or watching it on YouTube or whatever it is that, whatever platform it is that you're experiencing this on. Thank you for joining. Please check out the other platforms if you're not on those already. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to my podcast. You know what I mean? Like, hang out with me. I need some new friends, right? All my friends are in a different state right now. I don't have any friends here in where I live. I need more. But anyway, thanks for coming. I hope you enjoyed it. And go see that Batman movie. I don't get paid for you to go see it. I'm just telling you I think it's a good idea. So go see it. Have a good day. Thanks for watching. Cheers.